Well, I thought I'd try this approach as I haven't done one of these for a while. So, currently still in Medicine Hat. It's Friday. I'm trying to get Elsie, my stepmother's, address. I don't have it. I don't know where she is. I called her yesterday um, around noon, letting her know I was in town and was wanting to come by to see her, but I can't until I get her address. She doesn't remember. She was in her room. She doesn't remember her room number. She doesn't remember the name of the complex she's in. She doesn't remember the street she's on or the address of the building. She said she'd check, and then I could call her back. And I said, well, I'm going out, so I won't be phoning for a while. You can always phone me and leave the information on voicemail. Well, the entire day went by, and the evening went by, and no word from her. So I called her a little while ago, maybe about half an hour, and asked, and she had forgotten that she was going to get the information. She didn't have it still. Now, she's 102, and sometimes the memory works fairly well. Other days, she has issues. I have noticed in the past that when she's feeling ill, like she has a cold or something, the memory is very questionable. When she's feeling okay, she's usually pretty good. So I don't know if she's not been feeling well the last few days or what the case may be, but she'd forgotten to get the information after telling me she would get the information as soon as she hung up yesterday. So she wanted me to give her some time. Would I call her back? I said, yeah, I'm just in the hotel room having some tea. I was going to come and visit you after I'd finished my tea, but I need to know where you are. She completely understands. And so, can I call her back? Well, how soon do you want me to call you back? 3/4 of an hour at the latest. So, I'm now sitting here having some tea. I had to buy a mug. It's a nice big mug because I left mine at home. Yeah, I know it's messy. I spilled some tea, but good thing it washes. At any rate, I don't have my mug with me, even though I had it packed, because I needed to get into my locker room, and the locker storage area back at my place doesn't open till 8. So I was up at 6. I just kind of woke up Tuesday morning at 6, and I was awake. I was like, well, I'm not going back to sleep. So I got up and finished putzing around, packing everything. I had the Ozempic. I was going to leave that to the last to put into the cooler, which had the ice packs in it and things. And that's fine. I make some tea after taking the mug out of the suitcase. And that's fine. I go down to the locker, get what I do what I need to do, and then come back up and basically finish packing. I brought the Brita filter, or the Crave rather, with me. Left a bit of water in it because the filter itself should stay hydrated. I didn't know that, even as a new filter, if it dried out, whether it could be recharged, so to speak, by running more water on it. I tried looking online, couldn't find anything about that. So I thought, well, it's a large cooler, and if I put enough water in it to kind of go past the bottom of the filter a bit, I should be okay. And there was plenty of room in the cooler for the carafe, so I sat it in there and things. And toted everything down to the car and left around 9-ish. So I'm driving, and there's construction of all kinds going on, the number one. And traffic was really bad, congested, as to be expected. So I drive through all of that, and looking forward to get to Hope and find the number 3, and that worked out fine. And I'm driving along the number 3, but around Hope, I noticed there's a lot of haze and smoke and things. And I'm driving, and I get into it's part of the Okanagan, I guess. I don't know if the valley I'm thinking of has a name. I didn't see anything on Google Maps, but and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but it's where Keramos is located. And the thing that I really enjoyed was as soon as I kind of got into that area, and again, haze and things, lots of orchards and vineyards and things, and a ton of fruit stands. And I'm looking at these fruit stands and I'm thinking, cherries. I think cherries are in season right now. I bought some at home before I left, BC cherries. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, cherries. Maybe I should pick up some cherries. I thought about it, but I'm driving and I'm trying to make time. I want to get to Creston for the evening, as it were. So I'm driving along, but I'm just so moved by the valley and seeing all these orchards and vineyards and all the greenery and stuff. And not to romanticize wildfires, because you can't. But the haze, I'm saying this carefully, but the haze and stuff, it gave the valley an almost mystical quality as you're looking out over it, and you see the mountains on the other side, and of course the mountains, in my opinion, along the number 3, they're a little smaller. They're not these huge granite monoliths you find, say, driving along the number 1, and that's part of the reason I like the number 3 is this intimacy with the mountains. So I'm really enjoying. In fact, I teared up about twice, just from the sheer beauty of it. Again, haze notwithstanding, from the smoke, but it was just like a mystical fantasy lake setting almost. And the road is kind of up on the one side of the valley, and kind of the northern side, I guess, up on the lower slopes of the mountains, so you have this beautiful view. And just, to me, it was the best part of the entire journey, because things went south. Not fast, but they went south, sideways, bad. So I get into a Soyuz, and watching the people by the lake, and everybody's doing the beach thing. And now I'm going up, I think it used to be called Spiral Mountain, but it's where all the switchbacks are. And to me, it seemed like there used to be more switchbacks, but then, I'm remembering I could be confusing it with the James Bond movie, I think it might have been Goldfinger, where they're coming down this mountainish thing, and it's lots of switchbacks. Well, I may be confusing it with another area that I remember driving on. At any rate, there are switchbacks, but not the plethora that I thought there was. And so I get up to this scenic area, you pull over, and I thought, I'm going to take some video of a Soyuz, which is kind of down, sprawled out below you. I get out of the car, and I've been running aircon and stuff because it's supposed to be toasty, and the heat was almost like a physical thing. Just instant, not pain, but heat. Just smote me. It was like, oh, God. And so I'm out there and I'm taking video and all this kind of stuff, and then I carried on. But yeah, the heat was terrible. I thought I heard somebody say, oh yeah, it was 36 degrees Celsius. I'm like, that's insane. And somebody said, 33 degrees. Either or, it's both hot. So I'm continuing to drive, and I'm making time, and this is fine. And I do make it to Creston, but there's still a lot of light. I'm going, well, I'm just going to keep driving for now, because make time while the light's out. So I do that. And I feel it comes after Creston, doesn't matter. I thought, well, maybe I'll stay here, but again, it was light out. And eventually, it's getting dark. And I find, off the top, Cranbrook, I think it was. Just past Cranbrook, I found a rest area. It was really nice trees, and there was kind of like this pondish thing next door to it, and washrooms and tables, and like picnic tables. And I thought, oh, this might be good. I saw a car was pulled off in there, and they had the windows blocked out. And I went, oh, somebody's crashing. And I thought, okay, when I pulled over, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just, because I was getting tired and the eyes were a little sore, and I'm thinking, well, maybe this will be a good place to spend the night, so to speak, and or at least rest up somewhat. So I'm lying there, and I'm squirming, and I'm twisting, and I'm turning, I've got the car seat back as far as possible. Just the backrest and the seat itself is back, and I can't rest. I'm tired, but and I think I briefly did doze off. But of course, there's people coming in from time to time, so you hear the people. And I had the windows up at one point, and it was hot and stuffy, and I don't do well in hot and stuffy. And so I tried opening a window. Well, I should try. I opened a window, and to see if that would help. And it kind of did, because at least there was a bit of fresh air coming in, as it were. But again, it just wasn't comfortable. And as I said, I think I dozed off briefly, but then traffic and stuff kind of roused me. And I spent some time there just not being able to rest. I'd gone out for a little walk, and I'd had a sandwich that I'd made and had some water and things. And so I thought, well, I'll just push on because I'm awake and I'm not going anywhere despite feeling tired. So I'm driving some more. And I figured it's how far I got. I thought maybe I'll find another rest stop down the road. And I ended up, I can't remember where I was. I'd have to look at the map. Just bear with me. I apologize for the delay. Yeah, so I get to Grand Forks. Now, as it's getting later and I'm going through these towns and things, I'm looking at hotels and motels. And as I looked up some of the hotels as I'm driving along, they're really expensive. Like, expensive. Many of them are in kind of resorty or luxury, like star 3 or above. 4-star, what have you, which means the cost is expensive. And it's summer, it's tourist season, so it's even more expensive. I'm going, well, I didn't feel justified spending $150 or $60 or $70. So I thought, well, outside of Grand Forks, I found another rest area. I thought, well, I'll try pulling over again, because I was tired. The eyes are feeling gummy, and I'm just, So I pull over into this rest area, and no go. I just can't get comfortable. I remember even younger traveling on the Greyhound and stuff. I could never sleep on the Greyhound. I just could never get comfortable. I was talking to Ariel about this, and she has the same problem. It's just, can't do it. So I'm lying there, and I'm tossing, and I'm turning, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I can't sleep. I'll just push on. So I kept driving, and I'm feeling more and more tired, and I'm just, wiped. But I can't stop to rest because I won't rest. And I didn't want to sit somewhere all night just because that's what would happen. So I just kept pushing on. So now I'm in Alberta, and I'm annoyed because it's the middle of the night, and I wanted to see the scenery because I remember the scenery from when I was younger, traveling into BC along the number 3. But I can't see anything because it's nighttime. So I just see the road, and whatever portion of the road is lit by the headlights. And I also found out where the high beam things are, because I was driving at one point, and this guy had turned his high beams off, and I thought mine were automatically off, and they weren't. They were on, and I'm used to a high beam that really illuminates. Not that these don't, but they're different. I don't know how to explain it, but they look like just regular low setting. And as this guy gets quite close to me, just before he passes me, he puts his high beams on. And so it's like, I get this glare. I'm going, what the hell? And I find this little knob on the bottom of the dash on the left side of the steering wheel. And you rotate it. And now I think there's something on one of the controls on the car, on the column. but I haven't looked into that fully. And it was the middle of the night. I'm not going to try figuring that out. And I didn't want to pull over to turn on the light and look and then figure that out. It turned out that if I just rotated this knob left and right, I would toggle between low beam and high beam. So that's what I get. I'd be driving, let's see, a car, toggle or rotate, and low beam, high beam, a little bit. So I figured that out, which was nice to have, because I wasn't sure how that worked, because I hadn't really done much night driving where that was a necessity. At any rate, so that's figured out. So I keep driving, and I get to Pincher Creek, and I get to Fort Macleod, and I see this glow in the sky, and I'm thinking, and it's very central. I'm thinking, well, maybe that's the glow of the lights of Lethbridge being reflected in the clouds. And I'm driving, and I, keep checking this light in the sky and keep driving. And now, things are fairly level. There's not so much curving and hills and things, so I can make better time. I can increase my speed. I drove mostly about 100 on average for the bulk of the journey, where that was the posted speed limit. But in some cases, I got it up to 110 or 120. In some cases, I was doing 130, and once I got it up to 140 briefly, but that was a little later. So Pincher Creek, Fort Macleod, and then Lethbridge, and now I'm on my way to Medicine Hat, and that glow is starting to get a very faint tinge of orange to it, and I'm going, oh, it is the sunrise. Interesting. And it's like, well, at this point, it's about 5 in the morning, Alberta time. I haven't changed the time on my iPhone or my watch because I'm only here a couple of days, and why bother? Although that bit me a couple of times in the backside because I forgot. But anyway, so I drive, and the sun comes up. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, as it's breaking the horizon. It's red, but it's got these just beautiful orange undertones and things. It's like, oh man, I was moved, kind of slightly teared up because it was just so beautiful. But now I'm on like straight highway, and that's where I cranked it up at one point. I was doing 140. I didn't do that for long, but a few minutes I was cruising along pretty good. And because it's that time of the day, there's not a lot of traffic, mostly semis. You see the odd vehicle, and that was the case. And I blew into Medicine Hat around, I guess, 7 o'clock. My watch said 6, I think. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly, but it was somewhere, I don't know, somewhere around there. 5, 6, 7. At any rate, and then I have trouble finding the hotel. And I'm trying to use Google, and, word you're looking for, and directions. And I was hoping to hear the voice. Oh, turn left in 300 meters and whatever. And I wasn't getting any of that. And Google Maps has included something now called Gemini, and would you like to enable Gemini? And I didn't know what Gemini was and exactly how it worked. And I thought, not at this point in time. So I've got Google Maps on and the directions, and I turn the wrong way and stuff. I was first of all trying to figure it out on my own, and I was really close, but I zigged instead of zagged. Had I zagged, I would have gotten here. As it is, I ended up, in another place, not far away, but. And so I'm looking at the map, and I'm driving, and I've got my phone kind of down below me, and it's like, and I got here. And but the room wasn't ready, and I didn't think it would be because it's quite early in the morning, and I didn't know if the room itself had been used that night. So, hi, it's me, and I don't suppose I can check in. It's like, no, you can't. However, I will have cleaning staff address your room specifically first before they do anything else, but it'll be 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. She goes, you sit in the lobby if you like. So I grabbed my adapter and my charger cable because the phone was getting low, and I sat in the lobby only to get really cold because they had the aircon on. So I go back to the car and I sit in the car. It's warmer, and not onerously so until the sun started shining in the car, and then it got uncomfortably warm. So I thought, I put on my jacket, my light jacket, and back into the hotel I go. So I'm sitting there kind of head in hand, exhausted, not sleeping, but resting. And suddenly I hear, "Oh, your room is ready." And it was like, I was amazed. She goes, "Yeah, it happened much faster." And so I come up to the room after signing in and paying for everything and stuff and getting the Wi-Fi code, etc., so I can connect. And when I come up, right next door they're working, like the woman housekeeping, and I saw her. I said, "Thank you very much for focusing on my room first. I've driven straight through from Vancouver and I'm just exhausted, and I very much appreciate you having attended to my room first. You're very welcome." So I came in and basically had a big long nap. Then I decided to drive around Medicine Hat, visiting the old stomping grounds. And this was interesting. The last time I was here in 2011, I did the same thing. And it was kind of like, oh, like I'd go to an area, and I was walking at this point, because walking around Division Avenue and up where the hospital is and the school I went to and stuff. And the sidewalk is crumbly and it's deteriorating. And it used to be, families with young kids, school-age kids and stuff. And, it's changed. It's gotten older, and it's older people living in the area. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just kind of life. Things roll on. So, and it was kind of sad. I had walked downtown, and things had changed. And of course, downtown was no longer the vibrant area it used to be when I was younger. Again, not surprising. That's happening with many downtowns around the world, or at least in North America, I suspect. There's the area where my grandmother lived, in this big old house in this massive, massive, multi-level yard. And all that stuff is the retaining wall that faces the street. And they blocked off the entrance where you used to walk up the stairs, and then up the stairs into the house. And the house had a porch and all that kind of stuff. And there's these apartment complexes there. So it's kind of like, it's too bad, because it was just a cool piece of property. And there's plants, not necessarily vines, I'm not sure what they are, but they're all along the top of the wall, and they're growing down, so that's fine. And then walking through downtown, as mentioned, it's like, oh, I remember. But last night, or the night before, the night I arrived, I'm taking this drive, and I'm driving to all the various parts of Medicine Hat where I had friends, and where I would hang out with people and things. And it hit really, really hard. Really hard. Harder than ever before. Is it an age thing? I think it is. But at any rate, you're looking out the window and you see whatever you're looking at. But over the reality out the windshield comes this memory, and it juxtaposes itself onto, or overwrites, or overlays, probably a better word, the reality. This memory. And along with the memory come the people. And it just got worse the more I drove around. I was missing everybody so strongly. I mean, there's, many have moved away, gone on with their lives, families, all that kind of stuff. Others have passed away. Various illnesses or whatever the reason. But it hit me really, really hard. It's still hitting me hard, it's probably obvious. I felt really lonely. All these people are gone. I miss them. I miss spending time with them. I've talked about this before with family and things. It's like, I don't want to go back to that time, but I want what I had back then here in the present, and I don't have that. It's one of the reasons I left the choir, because there used to be a time where some of us would go out for coffee after rehearsal, and that feeds me, that nurtures my soul, and it stopped. Some of the people that just left the choir, that wanted to put up, but and I get it. There's people. Oh, we got families who go home, go to work tomorrow. But I need that. That, as I said, that nurtures me, and I don't have that anymore, and I haven't had it for quite some time. And interestingly, I get back to the hotel and I make some tea after I bought the mug because I left mine. I'd made tea at home. I was mentioning that earlier. And I got everything packed away, sugar, tea, etc. My spoon. I forgot the infuser. I forgot the spoon the measuring spoon that I use to measure out the tea. It's a specially designed tea spoon, perfect half circle, and you level into the. Anyway, I left that behind as well. So I'm making my tea, and I realized, though there was still, up to this point, a connection with Medicine Hat and it being home and where I was raised and all that kind of stuff, and experienced, a chunk of my life, 40 plus years of my life here in Medicine Hat. There's nothing here anymore. Like, there was always a bit of a draw because it was home. There's no draw anymore. I have no reason to come back here. Well, there's a joke reason I'll mention in a bit. And I felt like this book or chapter of my life is over, or the book of Medicine Hat can be closed. I'm done, I'm finished. I don't think I'll ever come back. There's no need. There's nothing here other than memories. And they drove all around with me. I had ghosts in the car, keeping me company, except they weren't, because they're ghosts. No communication, no interaction, just there. Kind of. The only thing they were saying on a low conscious level was, do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember? Yeah, I miss it. Anyway. So the next day I get up, feeling a little more rested, and that was the day of the parade, and my plans to go to the exhibition ground today. So yesterday. So I'm looking up the information on the parade, and the route was kind of weird, and I wasn't sure about parking. So as I'm looking at the route, and I'm concerned about parking, because I knew I was going to do a lot of walking, and I wanted to ensure I had a place to, and I wasn't sure where to park. I thought, well, maybe I could park on a side street as part of a residential section off the downtown core, and I'll walk with my chair. But because of the route and how it had changed a bit, because it used to come under the underpass, and nobody, you guys won't know what the underpass is or what it refers to. But anyway, under the underpass, road goes under the railway tracks. And so it comes out, and then it would go up first and second and third and terminate at third, and then they kind of reversed that a bit. It started on third and went, and ended up under the underpass. But in this particular instance, same thing, underpass and things up first, a block on second, and then down to what is called River Road. And apparently they did this last year, and people liked it because there was more room to stand. There's grass and trees, but it just struck me as a little odd, and suddenly I lost interest. Ironic, considering I'm going to go back to Medicine Hat, I'll visit Elsie and redo the parade and the exhibition grounds and the Midway and huzzah, and so I bailed on the parade. So I decided to spend the afternoon walking around the downtown core, and I actually phoned the Medicine Hat Police Department. I said, I'm interested in parking. I had an idea where I wanted to park. I said, can I park, say, on 4th Street residential area, and spend a few hours walking around? Or will I be contravening any bylaws, or because in some areas you need a permit, and you get those from the city and things. And the guy said, oh, you want to hear? He says, no. And I mentioned, I'd heard there's a parkade by the bus loop, and he goes, yes. I said, what do they usually charge? He goes, oh, basically you can just pull in there because it doesn't get a lot of use. Hardly anybody uses it. So I thought, whoa, well, okay. And there used to be a large area that ran alongside the tracks, um, that was public parking. It was quite a large lot. And but when I was driving around, there were no parking meters, and there was some signage, but I didn't see it all. So I'm checking with a few people, locals. I'm going, this area here, no parking meters. Like, is that public or private parking now? And apparently it is. So you need a permit there, and it's for business people, working downtown. So I thought, well, so much, because that's where I was initially going to park. And I thought, well, okay, but now I've got the all clear from the police going, yeah, you can park there. I said, what's the duration? It's 24 hours. I'm going, well, certainly not going to be downtown 24 hours, but I'm in the clear. I can take as much time as I want. So what I did do is find this parking lot, and I pull in, and I get to the second level, and I park, and I'm fine. So I'm walking around downtown, looking at this, looking at that, just, again, memories. Not quite as strong as when I did the drive the night before, but still memories. And hot. It was 31 or 3, I forget what, and I'm drinking a lot. And I got some color, and Ariel gives me the gears because I wasn't wearing sunscreen with a high SPF inside. I thought about it briefly, and the thought had kind of danced across the forebrain, and I watched it come in, dance, and go off stage. And so I didn't do anything about it. So she was not impressed and gave me the gears for that, justifiably so. So I will plan on some point on getting some. I think I'm going to the Pride Parade this year after having not gone for 5 or 6 years, however long it's been. And I always got a berm, always. So it would be a good idea to invest in some sunscreen. At any rate, especially at my age. Like there's, if you can see this red area here, that's a permanent red thing. Just skin color. It just showed up one day and has never gone away. On my nose, you can see this red line here. I don't know what that's from, what causes it. Apparently alcoholics get something like that, but this just looks like it's a varicose vein or whatever. That's, I don't know. It's not protruding, it's just there, and I don't know why. So there's that. Excuse me, I've got to, I'll grab this. My nose is running a bit. Excuse me, pardon me. Okay. So one of the things I was thinking about before leaving was getting my hair cut. I've been going to this place twice, and both times I wasn't happy with the end result. I was going, this is what I'm looking for, and the top I would like, and both times I didn't do it. The first time I went home, grabbed my beard trimmer, trimmed and kind of balanced things out. The second time it was even worse. I said I want it short on the sides, and the top can be trimmed a bit. He goes, kind of what I'm wearing. We had this fade going on, and so kind of that's what he did, but really short, really, really short, and with kind of an obvious line of demarcation, and the hair was longer. For me, it didn't look good. I mean, I paid and everything else, but I thought, well, and it was expensive, and they know they're expensive. They talked about it on their website, and this is kind of a bit of a franchise. And for those interested, it's called the Man Cave. And there's an outlet in Metrotown right across from Superstore. Now, the first time I thought, maybe the guy's having a bit of an off day, it happens to any of us. But the second time, I'm going, and it was a different barber, and I'm going, I'm not really happy. So I was thinking, well, maybe, and it was starting to grow out, looking a little wild a bit, despite its shorter length. And so I thought, no, maybe I should, but I didn't know where to go. I didn't want to go to a barber that I hadn't tried to research a little more. And so they go, maybe I'll find somebody here in the Hat. And I did. I'm walking down 3rd Street, and I see this barber across the street called Razors. And it's an interesting looking store. Like all the windows are basically, I don't want to say painted, but there's designs on them, but they're blacked out, so to speak. So I'll check it out. I did a Google search, and well, this place, is it good? Reviews came back very positive, so I thought, let's check it out. So I walk over there, and at this point it's about 4:55 or 5:55, and here's another thing. Oh, 4:55. They'll be closing at 5. Well, they're an hour ahead, so it's 5:55. But they're open. So I go in there and I said, well, you'll be closing soon, but I just want, he says, oh no, we're open till 7. Well, so I can get my hair cut today? He goes, yeah, there's a couple of people waiting. I said, oh no, that's fine. I didn't expect you to take me in right away if you have other customers ahead of me. So I sit down and this younger East Indian guy comes in, younger Indian guy comes in and sits down and we start talking. He's a bit of a musician and wants to buy a guitar, and we start talking music, and I'm mentioning various bands and things, and he has no I came and go, what? But dude, and some people you can view on YouTube and things. But anyway, I get into the chair with the owner, and he's got an accent. I'm thinking Caribbean, and it's interesting because all the barbers are black. And I saw a lot of black people in Medicine Hat, and I'm fine with black people. I see color, I just don't give a damn. And I thought, well, that's so cool, neat. And so I sit down and I tell him what's going on, and he gets it and goes to work. Now I've got my glasses off, of course, so I'm looking in the mirror and I can't see well. But from what I can see, if you will, squinting, it's looking good. So he finishes and shows me in the mirror. Well, yeah, that's really, really good. I said, this is exactly what I was after. And he trimmed the eyebrows, of course, because I'm an old man and I get long, unruly hairs because that's the law of the world. And he trimmed my beard a bit and stuff. I'm not sure about the balance here. This looks a little closer. Like this is a little more, I'm not sure. I'll have to. It's not the first time that's happened either. Anyway, so I'm very happy, and I'm mentioning I'm here to visit my 102-year-old stepmother and for the parade, and I was originally born and raised, and yada, yada, yada. He's from Morocco. So I said, oh, I hear this accent. Is that Jamaican? Was not from Morocco. I'm like, oh, cool. And where'd you come from, and why now, and why Medicine Hat? So he gives me a little background. He was in Calgary and moved out here, and is okay here. I said, you going to retire here? He goes, well, he started to laugh. I said, I get it. It's okay for a while, I think he has kids and stuff. He's like, well, maybe the kids will grow up and then he'll find another city to relocate to, which is fine. But I was joking. I was saying, yeah, I'm here visiting and, I probably won't be back. I said I wasn't planning on coming back again ever. I said, but now I have to come back in about 4 months so you can cut my hair. So that's been kind of the running gag with a few people here that I've talked to. From downtown, I went back to the hotel, and mostly because I had to pee. It's like, I gotta go pee. And so I come here, and for the first time, I noticed that my jeans have got holes along the seam, in the butt area, like where the taint is, so to speak. I'm going, well, no, I didn't. I would have bought jeans before I left. I don't know how long I've been walking around like this, because I've had other jeans, they wear out, and these jeans I've periodically checked. It'd been a little while, but everything looked fine. A little bit of wear, but oh yeah, we're good for a while. But no, I have no idea. I have no idea when the holes developed. There were 2 of them. One was about this long. Anyway, so I've got the new haircut, and I'm going, I need to find a Marks. I need to buy jeans. And so I go down to the front desk, and there's this lovely woman there, and I say, I have a couple of things. One is a favor. Can you take a picture of me? Can you take a facial, and can you do the back, and then can you do the side? And I explained my problems with barbers back in Vancouver. So this way, when I go to a barber, I can show them the photos and go, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. So she was very happy to do that and was chuckling over my reasons for it. So then I asked her, oh, do you know where there's a Mark? She goes, oh, I work there. Now she's behind the desk, working the desk, and I kind of look at her. She goes, I work 2 jobs. I'm going, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, the Marks is just right kind of around the corner. You could walk there if you want. Are you driving? I'm going, well, I'll probably drive. And because I'd already done a bunch of walking downtown. I had my knee sleeves on, thankfully, and those helped. So off to Marks I go, and I'll hop in there, and they've got I was told by the front desk, they have a sale on right now. You buy one, get 50% off on the second purchase. So I found a pair of jeans. I thought I'd try a size 42. I've been wearing a 44 because I have lost weight, and I've lost a bit more, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I can fit into a 42. I can't fit into a 42, a bit too snug. So I bought the 44, and then I bought the other pair. And as soon as I put them on, I'm going, yeah, these fit good. And I immediately emptied the pockets of my old Holy jeans and the belt, and that took all the tags off except for the security tag, and get the other pair, and off to the till I go. And I said, I hear the tags from the pair, I'm wearing them because these, and I show her the holes in the jeans, and she chuckles, and then we ring everything up. She takes off the security pod or tag on my jeans I'm wearing. She goes, I'm sorry, excuse me, and I'm going, no, that's fine, I apologize, you have to stare at my butt, and then off we go. So as soon as that happened, into the car, and I'm now off to the exhibition grounds. There's free parking on an area that is, just scrub. It's prairie, so scrub and dirt, and $12 to get in, and I hang around out there for a while. Go through the exhibition building. There's a secondary exhibition building. There used to be more stuff, like you could see fruit, or not fruit, but vegetables and cattle and livestock, not just cattle, and art and photography, and I didn't see any of that. And the one exhibition building that used to kind of have some of that stuff was just an extension of the main exhibition building. So I wandered around in there, and it all just seemed very anticlimactic. It wasn't quite as I remembered. It seemed there used to be more interesting displays and people selling merchandise than before. I remember there was people that used to do, there was a guy in there who used to do portraiture. You go and chalk using, chalk. There's a name for it, but anyway, yeah, he would do your portrait and charge you whatever he charged you and stuff. And there's none of that kind of really creative stuff, other than a lot of it just looked like, here's their supplier of goods, and so they're just anything you'd find online. Very little original stuff, which surprised me. And then I decided I wanted a hamburger, and so I did that. Got a cheeseburger and some onion rings, and sat down in this covered area, quite a number of tables, 15 or so maybe. I didn't count them. It's got an awning type of thing over it, and there's lightning everywhere. Now on the prairies, when it gets really hot, you can have electrical storms where it's just lightning everywhere, like from one end of the sky to the other. No rain, and it's usually hot, and it stays hot. You just watch the light show. And I thought that's what we were going to get, but no. Sitting there with my burger and my onion rings and my water bottle, suddenly there's this huge crack of thunder, lightning and thunder, like right overhead, and suddenly the rain comes down, and it isn't just, it's raining. Like, it starts with a few drips and going, it's going to rain a bit. Yeah. If we were in a gorge, a narrow valley gorge, flash flood, within a few short minutes, I have never seen such rain and wind. And it just, I looked at, of course, everybody's flocking under cover and stuff, so this this eating area, which was already crowded, there were people sitting at all the tables, had people at them. Suddenly, we're just inundated with people. And the water is building up on the ground. Now, this area is paved, but it's not even. It's, and an inch of water, inch and a half of water, maybe 2 inches of water in some places, that just kind of appeared, just poof, suddenly we're in a wash in a sea, and the wind is howling, and the rain is just driven rain. It's just a deluge. I've only seen something similar one other time in my life, and we were down in the Black Hills of the Dakotas, and we had gone into a cave, because I was in the caves on that vacation, and it was hot, and it was called the Cave of the Winds. because it responded to barometric pressure. So as we go to the entrance of the cave, we have a tour guide and stuff. The wind is coming out of this cave, blowing out of the entrance, and the guy goes, "Oh, we're going to get a storm before the day is over. Anyone want to bet?" And we're all looking at the sky, clear blue sky, not a cloud. But nobody takes them up on the bet. And we're down there a couple of hours maybe, and we come out, and it is black clouds everywhere. And this cave was, a few miles out of where we were staying, and I can't remember the name of the town. And we're driving back, and suddenly the rain comes down, and the windshield wipers just couldn't keep it. We had to pull over to the side of the road and wait for this thing to pass. This is what it was like last night, only worse, in my opinion, because the wind seemed worse. My back was it was getting wet because the wind was driving the rain sideways, so to speak. And this same woman, this woman beside me, I looked, at one point I turned to her and said, "Have you heard something about some guy building a boat?" And, a reference to the myth of the biblical flood. And she laughed and said, "He was by the name of Noah." I said, "I think that's the guy." And then a little later I said, "Look, could you stand just right behind me? My back's getting wet." She laughed. And she had been facing the wind. She was there with her boyfriend, her husband, or whatever. He was standing, because, again, people were sitting everywhere. And she turned around funny and things. And I guess I could have gotten a video of it, but I was eating my burger and stuff. And I didn't want to muck around in it. And I didn't know how long it was going to last. So, but it was pretty spectacular. But I'm thinking of what the parking lot is going to be like, because scrubbing dirt, and sure enough, mud, and my shoes got quite muddy. Like I sunk up into the tops of the soles. So you got the heel and you got the sole. It's all one piece, but up and my shoes got quite dirty. And my new pants got some mud on them that I was able to brush off. But that was the excitement last night. So today I'm trying to find what's going on with Elsie. I'll be calling her as soon as I do this, and because enough time has gone by. And hopefully she has an address for me, in which case I will head out and go see her, and then I have the rest of the day. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a couple of things, maybe. I've been looking for messenger bags, going to thrift stores downtown. I haven't found anything. There's apparently it's a gas station called Canex or something, and it's kind of an Army and Navy thing. Somebody was telling me about it. It's up on the number 1 towards Redcliffe. So I may drive up there and see if I can find something I can use or buy. And tomorrow, I can start doing some packing tonight. I have to wait to finish because, I'll want to have some tea. So the tea and the sugar are out in my infuser and the spoon. I'll be taking a shower tonight before bed. Once that's done, I can put the shampoo and stuff away. And so I can do a partial pack tonight and then have to pack up the rest tomorrow with the CPAP and all that kind of stuff, and head off to Calgary. Then from Calgary, I've decided I don't want to spend a lot of time up there because I won't be staying the night. I have nowhere to stay. And I will be taking the number 2 from Calgary back down to the number 3 on the west side of Lethbridge. It's not by Pincher Creek, somewhere in that area. And then I will go back on the number 3. And I'll be seeing the areas that I couldn't see when I came out because it was nighttime. This time it'll be brighter and I'll be able to see stuff. I also have a plan for resting, and which is to lower the back seats down so that I have this flat area, which is longer, that I will be able to fit in. I tried laying down the back seat in one of the rest stops. I'm 5'7", which is below average height, at least in Canada for men. And this is smaller than 5'7", so I was kind of, you got the chairs, and it was uncomfortable. Again, the issue was comfort. And so I'm hoping if I can fully stretch out, I might be able to doze off for a bit. So that's the plan. Because when I told Ariel about Keramos in the valley there, the vineyards and the orchards, she said, "Oh, cherries, can you buy some cherries?" I go, "Well," I said, "depends on when I'm there, because if it's the same it's the same approach. By the time I get there, it'll be the middle of the night, and everything will be closed. So the idea is, because I thought, maybe I should buy some cherries. An area would like some. So I'm hoping somewhere along the way I will actually be able to lie down and rest for a bit, and then continue driving. I'll also have to check the weather conditions, or not the weather conditions, what's going on with the fires. Once I got past kind of a Soyuz, or even past the Caramels, I'll call it the Caramels Valley, because you go up a bit of mountain and then you come down into a Soyuz. It wasn't as hazy in a Soyuz, which is interesting because not that long ago they had fires in the area. All were under control, none had gotten out of control. So we'll see what things are like going back. At one point, it was very hazy. I could smell the acrid smoke in the car, windows up and stuff, but I could smell it. It wasn't strong, but it was there. So we'll see what happens going out. I would like to stop and get some fruit and things, but it depends on the drive. So regarding the drive out here, it was hell. It was a marathon of brooding my way through. I'm getting too old for this. If I ever do something like this again, I would like to have somebody with me so we can spot each other behind the wheel. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I certainly was thinking a while ago, a few years back, of taking that run down the Pacific Coast Highway to California and things. And then they've had where the state's now become a fascist state, and run by fascists, and it's not a pleasant place to go, in my opinion, at this point in time. I mean, I could get stopped at the border because I said something. Oh, Trump, yeah, I'd punch his fucking face in if I saw him face to face. I'd take his balls out and shove them up his ass so far he could taste them. Then maybe I'd rip his head off and shit down his neck. And apparently they would take a dim view to that opinion. But, so yeah, I've got shit on my phone that they probably wouldn't appreciate. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't even be allowed in. But I don't think I could make that run anymore. I don't think I have it in me. So, we'll see. But as mentioned, I can close the book on Medicine Hat. I'm done. Everything is really officially the past. I knew it was the past before, but it feels official now. It's done. Your life in Medicine Hat, those memories, those events, everything you did, the fun, the not so much fun, done. It's here in the past. This is where it lives now, other than your memories. But it's memories of the past, officially the past. And there we go. Okay, I think I'm done. This video is about 53 minutes long, 53 and a half. I don't know if I can upload the whole thing. I'm going to try uploading it to Instagram and see if it will take it. Might be too long. Maybe too long for Facebook. I think I can upload it to my YouTube channel. Not my gaming channel, but my main channel. So I'll try doing that. And if that's the case, then I'll give you a heads up on Facebook for those of you who are interested. And you can watch this long rambling vlog, if that's the correct term for something like this. My travel log by Jer. Jer's travel log. Jer's adventures to Medicine Hat and back. Something. Anyway, I'm off to phone Elsie and finish my tea. Have a good day. Stay well. Take care. Keep safe.